Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. Glenn Calloway from the basement. I am going to do a Norman Maslov whack-a-mole this morning. I like to give Mazzy credit for kind of establishing this in the vinyl community. If you don't know what that is, Mazzy would go over to his record collection without looking and pull a few albums and then come back and talk about them. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to call it a whack-a-mole. I got to come up with a name for it. Because now I have my collection kind of behind me here in the background. I can get up, go over there, grab them. You can watch me do it. Oh boy, exciting. And come back and talk about it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to unhook my little microphone here so I can go over there and do it. You probably won't be able to hear me unless I'm yelling and screaming. I'm going to try and grab about 12 CDs because there are some CDs in my collection. I don't even know what the hell they are. So, which is not good. Anyway, so then I can at least talk about a few of them. I'll be back. You just wait there patiently. Talk amongst yourselves. Now, wasn't that fun? So the thing about this is, when I moved to this new home, it was a daunting task to put all the CDs on the shelf and try and put them in alphabetical order. So what I did is just put like the A's, B's, C's, D's, the whole bulk of them are in alphabetical order, but each individual letter of the alphabet is not in alphabetical order. So if I grab something from the start of the A's, I could be grabbing the Allman Brothers, or like, I don't know what's, next to the Allman Brothers might be Airbag. I don't know who's going to be there. So I don't know what. I got here, I got 12 CDs. I'm not even looking at them. I'm just going to grab them. Jackson Browne's first album. This is actually called Jackson Browne, but because it says on it, saturate before using, people think the album's called Saturate Before Using, but it's not. It's just called Jackson Browne, and it's a great frickin' record. This isn't the first one I heard, although I'd heard Dr. My Eyes was his single. For Every Man is the second album, and it's fantastic. That is my favorite one. That's the one I fell in love with Jackson Browne on. His first, 4 or 5 albums are all like essential albums as far as I'm concerned. Incredible songwriter. Just always has some great people playing with him. David Lindley. And it's Jackson Browne. Awesome. What's next? Rolling Stones, Aftermath. This is an SACD. I grabbed a Super Audio CD. The Stones released a whole bunch of SACDs in 2002. Right up to Let It Bleed, I think. Everything was released. This is the UK version. There are 2 versions of this. Something similar to the early Beatles albums, where the North American albums were different from the UK albums. Aftermath is considered one of their best early Stones albums. First track, Mother's Little Helper. Boy, the Stones were so they were so sexist, man. Stupid Girl is next song. Lady Jane, I love that song. Under My Thumb, another totally sexist song. That girl being under your thumb. Can you imagine saying that in 2025? You would get slapped. Going Home, which I think is like an 11-minute track. That could have been in my 11-minute track video. Out of Time's a great song. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good early Stones album. Aftermath. What's next? Elton John's Greatest Hits Volume 2. You know, I loved Elton John in the 70s, especially up to side one of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And then from Benny and the Jets on, I decided he kind of lost it. There's the odd good track on side 2, 3, and 4 on Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, but he may put out another good album after this, but after that it just got too poppy and just not nearly as good as his early stuff. What's on this one? The Bitch Is Back. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I hated his cover of that. Tiny Dancer, great song. Feel Like a Bullet in the Gun of Robert Ford. Someone Saved My Life Tonight. It's an okay track. Philadelphia Freedom sucks. That's a really bad song. Island Girl's a terrible song. Levon's great. And Cover a Pinball Wizard. I don't care about that either. That's a Who song. Come on. Come on, Elton. Whoa. So Larry Graves got box set. Larry says he loves hearing his name. Larry. Larry got a Steppenwolf box set of all their albums. And we both like Steppenwolf. Who doesn't like Steppenwolf? What a great band. So Larry gave me his CDs. He's such a good man. Larry. This is Steppenwolf 7. And strangely enough, coincidentally, it's their 7th studio album. It has 40 Days and 40 Nights on it, which is an old classic. First song called Ball Crusher, which is scary as shit. Foggy Mental Breakdown. Being a banjo player, I like that. Snowblind Friend is the frickin' best song on the album. And, yeah, Steppenwolf 7. Oh, this is interesting. So they came out with these albums. They're bluegrass tributes to certain artists, and they take an artist and they do all the songs in a bluegrass style. This is bluegrass tribute to Neil Young. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever even played this. They do Heart of Gold, Love is a Rose, Four Strong Winds, which is really an Ian Tyson song, Old Man, Old Laughing Lady, Helpless, Only Love Can Break Your Heart, Out on the Weekend, Cowgirl in the Sand, Sugar Mountain, Mr. Soul, and For the Turnstiles. For the Turnstiles is my favorite Neil Young song. I really should listen to this. And I'm not sure who even plays on this album. I'm going to see if they give a... It's probably just studio musicians. Oh, no, they do say. Let's see if there's anybody famous. There is not one person I've ever heard of in the bluegrass world. And trust me, I do know a bit about that world. Why is that happening? I'm getting... The way the sun's shining. I don't like it. There, we'll do it that way. There's a window kind of behind me on the wall behind me, and the sun is shining almost directly in here this morning. I pulled 2 Steppenwolfs. This is a twofer. Early Steppenwolf and For Ladies Only. For Ladies Only was a good track. That was a hit for them. Early Steppenwolf, recorded live at the Mantrix in San Francisco. I've never listened to this. Howlin' for My Darling, I'm Going Upstairs. I've never listened to this. The Pusher's on there. That's a great song. Yeah, For Ladies Only was a great song. That's the only one I really know on this album I really need to listen to. Deep Purple. My friend Robert Hagerman, Robert's on my turntable, did a themed video on bands with the best run of 3 albums, or great runs of 3 albums. He didn't rank them. And he picked Deep Purple, and I was so happy that he picked Mach 1 or Mark 1 or whatever they call it of Deep Purple, the original band with Rod Evans on vocals, because that's my favorite Deep Purple era. And this is their second album, Shades of Deep Purple. First album. And it has Hush on it, great song. Help. They do Help. They do Hey Joe. Mandrake Root is kind of one of the more popular songs in this album, I think. But I love that version of Deep Purple. Love it, love it, love it. Arthur Browne, the great Arthur Browne. This is freaking awesome. When I bought some merch from Arthur's website, he sent me a CD. It's called Leg Boot. It is a live album, all acoustic, and it is fantastic. It's called Leg Boot, and he does a killer version of Dylan's Hard Rain Gonna Fall. I Put a Spell on You is on here. Fire is on here, of course. Really, really, really good album. Arthur Browne, Leg Boot. The Beatles. Who says I never talk about the Beatles? And I'm bored with the Beatles. I actually love this album. I have it on vinyl as well. The Yellow Submarine album. It kind of, you got the songs from the movie. And then side 2 is George Martin's orchestrations, which, who listens to that? Then they eventually came up with this thing called Yellow Submarine Song Track, which is all the songs from the movie plus a few other tracks, and it's really good. And the vinyl sounds great. But besides having Yellow Submarine, Hey Bulldog, All Together Now, and All You Need Is Love, Only a Northern Song, they also have like Eleanor Rigby, Love You Too, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Think for Yourself, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, With a Little Help from My Friends, Baby You're a Rich Man, All You Need Is Love, When I'm 64, Nowhere Man, It's All Too Much. Great lineup of songs and a great album. Cream. I love Cream. I saw Cream live in 1968 at Massey Hall for $3.50. Still remember where I sat in the 9th row, kind of in the left aisle to the stage, so be stage right, and but closer to the center part of the right aisle. So I really amazing seats to see Ginger Baker, Eric Clapton, and Jack Bruce. Phenomenal show, phenomenal. You know who my favorite out of the three was when I came out of that show? Ginger Baker. He just floored me. I couldn't keep my eyes off him. He was amazing. And Cream Live, Volume 2, Deserted Cities of the Heart and White Room, Politician, all 3 songs off of Wheels of Fire, Tales of Brave Ulysses, Sunshine of Your Love, and a song called Steppin' Out. One of the great bands of all time. I'm doing pretty good here. Harvey Mandel, the Snake. Anybody heard of Harvey Mandel? One of the great guitar players of the 60s, early 70s. Played a lot of session stuff. Worked with all those Chicago dudes, the Bloomfields and all those guys. He was wrapped up in all that stuff. But he put this album out called The Snake. It's a frickin' great record. If you ever see this in the wild, grab it if you like 60s, early 70s guitar. Harvey Mandel was one of the best. I think he did the album with Barry Goldberg. I think it was his guitar playing on the album called Two Jews Blues, which is a classic album too. But Harvey Mandel, The Snake, great freaking album, man. Last but not least, let's put some soul in here. Wilson Pickett, the very best of Wilson Pickett. Man, that guy have some classic tunes. In the Midnight Hour. 6, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. That's my number. Great song. Land of a Thousand Dances. Na, 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 na. Mustang Sally. Who doesn't do Mustang Sally's? Every cover band in the world do that song. Funky Broadway. Hey Jude. Now, if I'm correct, you know who played the guitar on that Hey Jude session? You don't know? Dwayne Allman. Yes. Sugar Sugar. Where have we heard that song before? Don't Let the Green Grass Fool You. That's a great track. Fire and Water. I Found Love, and Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. Everybody. Cool. I got through all 12. I knew something about every one of them. How's that? I'm impressed with myself. Hey, Hey, that was fun. I'm going to do this again. I might do this every Sunday morning if people watch the damn thing. We'll be back soon. I'm getting together with Larry tomorrow to review the 5 CDs that we picked to listen to. And that'll be up on Larry's channel sometime early in the week. And thank you all. Have a great Sunday. Go Bills.